own show prep. So, so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy, ha ha. It's a 6-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6 Rings Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the 6 Rings Kane Show. Jazz Santana's on his way, and I am joined by Danny Gillette. DJ, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. It is St. Patrick's Day. I got my green on. You got your green on. Yep. We are festive. It's a big holiday in your neck of the woods.
Festive and sober, just for you guys, so we can bring the best content to you possible.
That's true. Although I have been. Not ever on this show, actually. Some of those bucket shows are.
This is a bucket, so I'm giving you.
Yeah, some of those. Oh no, I'm definitely sober. It's a weeknight. I have a job and stuff. I can't be drinking on Monday. Some of those weekend midnight buckets over the holidays get a little cheery, but not today. Not today.
You only live once, Vish, so why not make?
Well, I mean, getting drunk on stream not exactly professional. Anyway,
I've done it, so
I have done it. I have not done it today. Today we are clean and sober. As we wait for Jazz again here, let me shout out our sponsor, which is You Brake Wheel Fix. Have you ever run over a pothole that makes your steering wheel shake? Are you constantly losing air in your tires? Chances are that there's an issue with your wheels, and You Brake Wheel Fix is your solution. You Brake Wheel Fix is Miami's premier wheel repair and restoration company with over 20 years of experience. Located in North Miami, You Brake Wheel Fix offers quick repairs for damaged wheels, and in most cases can offer you a free loaner if the repair is not a quick one. If your wheels are looking weathered, thinking about maybe buying some new ones, You Brake Wheel Fix can freshen them right up, make them look brand new. They do in-house powder coating, machining, and polishing. So contact Mark and his staff at 305-748-0112. Follow them on all socials at You Brake Wheel Fix. That's you, the word break, B-R-E-A-K, wheel, like a wheel, W-H-E-E-L, and fix, F-I-X. And if you mention 5 reasons, you'll get 5.5% off your next repair. That's You Brake Wheel Fix. Powder coating and wheel repair located at 1848 Northeast 143rd Street in North Miami, Florida. Or give them a call at 305-748-0112. All right. So DJ, so the past week, was the gap in the spring schedule. So about to get back at it. So I guess we can start there. As we got Terrence, shout to Terrence in the comments.
What's up, Terrence?
Terrence, follow up all of our shows. This is, by the way, DJ, this is one of 3 for me tonight.
3. I saw you had one. I saw you had one after this, but I didn't know about the third.
Kane's on deck at 9:30, and then Buckets at 11. So it's going to be a long night for me. But anyway, so how do you think that? So they obviously had some practice, then took a break. How do you think that impacts the kids? Do you think it's almost a reset? Because they didn't have that many practices before they went into break.
Yeah.
And I was curious, first of all, how do you think that's going to impact, the preparation? Is it kind of starting over a little bit? And second, what are your thoughts on why they chose to do that? I know there was spring break, which is why they broke in the middle, but they could have maybe started now, or I don't know. What are your thoughts overall there?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking there. They could have maybe started now and then, kind of had a break, just use these last couple weeks for a break. Because, the first week of spring practices, you do a lot of basic concepts, but it's still really important, right? And sometimes you even can get to an install type of period before you really begin practice and you begin to get familiar with the concepts and things like that. So the little bit of a break was interesting. I'm happy they're back on the field. What's up, Canes, Cats, Heat? And so I think, this break was weird, but I'm happy that, they're going to get back to work soon. And I think there's a lot to learn over these next couple weeks. I mean, I was on record last week saying I don't know if spring ball is necessarily the most important thing, but at the same time, new quarterback, new defensive coordinator, new defensive staff. So this could be an opportunity for some of these guys to learn quite a bit.
Yeah, shout out to CCH. Jazz is on his way in. Yeah, I have a busy night, which we just talked about, but Jazz's arrival is imminent, and he'll definitely be on Baseball Next, which I know CCH will be enraged in the comments. Things aren't going well over there, but anyway, to your point, DJ, there are opportunities. I just wonder, taking a week break in the middle, if that is necessarily useful or beneficial. I do think the least important part is probably the actual game itself. The spring game itself is kind of just like a fan exhibition. I think the practices are more important. So they're getting back out there now. And as you mentioned, quarterback not quite thrown yet, but is literally going through the motions in practice. So opportunities there for him to kind of build a little bit of a rapport. And hopefully, hopefully get some value out of this. I think we talked about, Nebraska leading the charge. Man, Popeyes would knock me out if I had loaded up on Popeyes before this. But anyway, so I mean, the Miami spring game's a glorified donor party at this point because it's not on camp. It's not in the big stadium, and I was going to get CCH helping us transition. I was going to talk about this in a second. But, some schools have chosen just to cancel it outright. And, well, let's just go ahead and get to this topic. So Deion Sanders is talking about get to play an actual opponent. They do that in preseason OTAs in the NFL. Like, you'll do these live scrimmages against other teams sometimes before the actual preseason. What are your thoughts on that as a concept?
Well, I got to say, back when I was a team manager, I know big stuff, but when I was a team manager for my college team, we used to have a scrimmage about 2 weeks before the season opener, and it gave us a chance to play another team and see what we had in terms of position, see what we had in terms of scheme, as well as, in terms of how well the players were retaining it and seeing things that we needed to work on, right? And so I have always really liked the idea of a scrimmage because I think it gives you a good measuring stick as opposed to practicing against each other during a spring game. And I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Deion, but I like what he did here with, scheduling a scrimmage. I mean, of course, there's always the chance for injuries, but I do think a scrimmage offers a good measuring stick for a team just to see where they're at and where maybe they need more depth positionally, especially with the spring transfer portal window coming up. So, I think it's a good idea, and I hope more teams follow suit.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this in CCH. I mean, one of the problems is just logistically. So how do you, FIU's local, so I guess we could play them. A lot of these schools don't, have anyone kind of in their proximity that you really want to line up and play against. I would also be a little bit worried about playing FIU. You mentioned injuries. Those games also tend to be a bit chippy. I don't necessarily want to do that in a spring spring scrimmage situation. Also, so far removed from the start of the season that I don't know if there's much value, frankly, in like playing that extra game. I know if I'm a coach, I'm gonna hold everything back at that point. I don't really need to show anything, especially if it's what Terrence suggested, which is to play a conference opponent, even if you're not going to play them in the next regular season. Then you could hit them in the conference championship game. So I mean, knowing coaches, I feel like they would sit on the playbook, and I don't even know that I'd want our players getting hit like that. So,
well, I think there's like different ways you can do it. Like you can break it up with the ones and the twos. You can coordinate with the team, the opposition, to focus on certain aspects during the game, just to see where a team is at. Like I remember ours had different periods where we would work on certain things over the course of like a 20-minute quarter. So I don't know if it would need to be necessarily a full throttle game if they were to face another opponent. I think it's just a matter of getting different looks and working on concepts. And usually, working on concepts, you kind of meet with the opposing team and you say, hey, we're going to work on this and we want to do this, and we'll let you have the same opportunity. So I don't know if it would be necessarily a full throttle game, but I do think getting a different look would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I want to expose our kids to that, especially, getting cheap shotted or whatever. Yeah. Like I have no trust in the opposing teams. But we'll get someone else's thoughts on that, and that is our co-host, Jazz Santana.
What's up, Jazz? How you doing, buddy?
Happy Patty's Day, everybody.
Yeah,
we all got a little.
Wait, hold up. Is that a new hat?
No, I've had it for a while. I just never wear it.
I think I've seen this one.
I like it.
I've never worn it maybe one time. So
it's a cool hat. Good hat. I approve.
Thank you.
So a topic we were discussing, I don't know if you were able to pick up on it, but Dion mentioned he'd like to actually play an opponent in the spring game, so we were discussing that. I don't know if you had any thoughts on, well, a couple of things. CCH put his in the chat in terms of if we were to do something like that, who we would play, but didn't really ask DJ that question. But so do you think that's a good idea? If so, who would you play? And then DJ, you can also give your thoughts on who would be a good opponent to play in that situation.
God, that's a tough one because the biggest thing is I'm sure you guys have gone over this, right? Is injuries, and that's probably the most important thing, the injuries. Now, do you do like what you do in the like what they do in the NFL preseason, where they play your starters maybe a quarter, and then you go into your second and third string guys and fourth string guys and walk-ons and all that, and you kind of see what's going on? Yeah, maybe it's not a bad idea. So I'm good with that if it was like that, right? If it doesn't mean anything, it doesn't matter. Like it's not going to go against your record. It's not going to go against anything at all. I think that it's a good opportunity for some of the young guys and some of the walk-ons and some of those other guys to maybe put on a show against someone else. Because the truth is that sometimes, right, when you play spring games against each other, you might hold back a little bit. You might not lay someone out like you would another opponent, things like that. So you might not see some of these players go full force unless they're fighting for their job one way or the other. But I think I don't think it's a bad idea. I think you keep it vanilla, as you would anyways with a spring game. Keep it vanilla, play your starters maybe a quarter, maybe 2 or 3 series.
Yeah.
And then go from there. And I don't think it's such a bad idea, to be honest with you.
No. Like I suggested to Vish, I don't know if you heard any of this, but back when I used to help out for my college team, one of the things that we did was we scrimmaged a team in the preseason. We broke it down like 1 20-minute quarter. We worked on certain things where it wasn't actually like a game, but just different segments of a game, and we worked on different situational drills and things like that, and it was agreed upon by the opposing team as well. So when I think of a scrimmage like that, I don't necessarily think of a full-blown game, but just more an opportunity to see your depth, practice different situational types of drills against another opponent.
Yeah. Vish, were you going to ask who You said you were going to ask.
Yeah. Who would you like if the Canes were going to do this? Who would you like to play in this situation?
I would like to play a local team, a Florida team. So you can do like an FAU, or you can do you can do Bethune or FAMU, and make it a whole thing, like with the bands and everything. Make it like a huge, spectacle with them. Or some a team like, I mean, the thing is UCF is a better team. So do you want to scrimmage against something like maybe you want to do something like UCF? But I would probably stick to kind of the lower division schools. Maybe FIU. You do an FIU FAU matchup. I'm good with that for sure.
Jacksonville State. Yeah.
Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville, I'm sure they have a program up there. So
they do.
Jacksonville State's actually in Alabama.
Yeah, Jacksonville State's in Alabama.
Yeah, Jacksonville. The Jacksonville State's there's a place called Jacksonville, Alabama.
That works too. I mean, they're probably not too far.
There's also Jacksonville University. Yeah, they just came across the border when they beat Florida State. So.
Right.
So to answer CCH's questions, I mean, this is totally different. So my concern with doing it in football is these games get chippy with these lower level Florida teams. I mean, we famously got into a huge brawl with FIU, but that was after they spent most of the game cheap shotting us. And I'm a little concerned about showing up and playing. Less so like Bethune or FAMU or these HBCUs, but definitely like the FAUs and FIUs of the world. I don't necessarily know that that's a great idea in terms of exposing our kids to that. And definitely if you start playing even like higher level teams, I mean, you're not going to go full, neither are they. No. So I don't know really what the purpose would be. I don't know. I don't like the idea of giving some other school an opportunity to hit our kids in a non-competitive situation.
That's the biggest. Right.
That's where I'm like, I said this as you were joining, Jazz. I don't trust the other coaches. So like, we can. This isn't the NFL where everyone's a professional.
Right.
There's often amateur hour in college athletics, and I don't know that I necessarily trust the other schools to not do something dirty or like try to take someone out or something like that.
I wouldn't doubt it, right? Like maybe Mike Norvell calls the head coach over at FAU and is like, "Hey,
he's like, I need to try to get to 3 wins this year. I need help.
I need you to take out their left guard or something." Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that it'll be that like coming from the coach, but it's just, they're all, especially this is, and I'm sure this is the case in like other states too, where there's a lot of, competitive high school athletics. These are all like kids that played against each other. There's beef going back decade, and then they light up on the field. They're not going to just take it easy and go through the motions. They're going to start hitting. And again, in college football, you don't have a non-competitive game. Like there's no preseason, so just that whole concept doesn't exist. And trusting that everyone's going to like, all right, take it down a couple of notches, especially it's like 6 months before the season starts. So it's like, all right, everyone just calm down. We're going to go through we're going to work out some things together. So I don't know that I trust them to do that, which is very different, of course, from basketball and baseball, which are, you might get a little contact in basketball, but nothing.
They're non-contact sports.
Yeah. And yeah, so that would be my only concern. But yeah, I think you'd have to do it locally. You're not going to fly your team across country to do something. So there's plenty of football in Florida for us to do. I don't know how that would work for other schools and places where there aren't a lot of teams. Like, obviously, like I said, Texas is fine, California is fine, Florida is fine. Some of these other places, it might be hard to find an opponent.
Well, I think the other, like you said, actually, maybe it makes sense to travel because you've got. I guess it depends on the fan base. It depends on the school because you got such a large fan base in other parts of the country. I don't know if necessarily that applies to a school like Miami, where it's a smaller alumni base. You still have a lot of people that are outside of the state. A perfect example is you, Vish, right? But you've got a large alumni base in New York, DC, even on the West Coast in California,
Massachusetts too. Yeah,
Boston, right? Yeah, you've got Massachusetts in the Northeast, so you've got a large fan base like that. Do you do something like that where you go scrimmage? Maybe you don't necessarily have to scrimmage another team. Maybe you go up there and do another scrimmage. Period. Right? Do another spring game up there where you kind of just make it a nice festival or a nice event for your alumni base and others, any other college football fans that want to go out there and watch a game. You kind of do that up there. Maybe that's another thing you can do as opposed to getting another team to play.
Yeah, I could see. It's just that's expensive.
Yeah, right. I figured.
And I mean, let's be real. And this is another kind of argument just about having some kind of scrimmage like that. And generally, I mean, there's another portal window that we're about to go into. Like, am I paying to fly these kids to somewhere to do this thing, or why do I care if they get like another live game like situation when they're gonna hit the portal in a month? So I don't know. It's a messy time of year. I think it was closer to the season. I'd like to, potentially have some actual preseason games. But it's so far away from it. It would be like holding a preseason game in the NFL before you start any kind of cuts. So it'd be like doing it now. Like, we haven't drafted yet, but still, like it's so far from the season. Like, these rosters are going to look so different. It's not like it used to be where, your spring roster pretty much matches your fall one. It's going to look completely different. So,
yeah, it's. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the smartest thing is to kind of keep it the way it's done now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of schools canceling their spring game as we talked about last week. So just be happy we have something.
I mean, that's the craziest thing to me is just canceling it as a whole. What's that really gonna do? How does that help?
It's just not worth putting it on. That's why. Because the game itself is just for the fans.
Yeah, it really is just for the fans.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, because you gotta like, let's say, I mean, for us, we don't have a stadium to hold it in, which is why it became this like invite only thing, because the stadium's in use this time of year. But for a school like Nebraska, there's a lot of logistics involved in all those people showing up to Lincoln.
Yeah,
and to watch what? And so at some point they're like, you know what? It's exactly the argument I made. There's not really a lot of value because a lot of these kids aren't going to be on the team. And why are we spending a ton of money just on event staff, security? You got to do all this shit to put on an event. And it's just like, for this?
And honestly, they had 5 injuries during the game last year that had players miss at least part of the season. So there is that too. But I mean, it's really kind of interesting because, we've seen like this shift in how spring is valued. And I think a lot of it can be attributed to like NIL and the transfer portal, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting how other schools have sort of done the same thing as well.
Look, if it wasn't important, right, DJ, if it wasn't important, people, teams wouldn't be canceling it and, coming up with different things to do. I think that the spring has become a little bit more important. I know we spoke about it last week. To a lot of programs, and a lot of programs get scared because there's teams like Miami and Alabama and you name it, right? These big programs, not even the big programs, but teams like Texas Tech that are coming in all of a sudden with this huge amount of NIL money and are swooping in and taking a lot of players. And so they're trying to protect their players as much as they can from getting seen, and it kind of sucks, right? NIL has really, I don't want to say in a good and a bad way, but it's kind of screwed up college football, right? Whether you want to take it as it's screwed up college football in a good way, it's kind of mixed things up, or it's ruined it a lot for a lot of people. Look, I'm always in favor of making sure that the players are taken care of financially. But I think there's also, I think there's also a line that gets crossed a lot. And, look, at the end of the day, kids are gonna do what they're gonna do, right? They're either gonna leave or they're not gonna leave. They're either gonna take the money, they're not gonna take the money. It's not something you're gonna be able to control much, regardless. So it's just I don't know, man. It's a tricky situation. So I'm all for playing the spring game. I like the spring game. I think the fans deserve, a little bit of a show. I mean, they do pay for season tickets and they do support the program as well. And so why not do something in return? And I think that's the way I see it when it comes to spring football. I don't think they need to do anything crazy, but I think what we do, I think is perfect. Honestly, something small and intimate. Right there on campus, I think it's perfect.
Terrence has a very good point because when you look at Ohio State, for example, they started in August and they finished the season in January, and now now they were going to theoretically play another spring game in April. It does in a way make the spring game obsolete when you're playing, let's see, almost half a year of football. And it doesn't mean that that's the case for everybody, but it definitely offers a different kind of caveat to the spring game itself.
CCH being a nuance as usual.
I mean, they're gonna make it
coaches
back.
Are soft. They're cowards. Let's see.
It does make it obsolete the game, but not for and we spoke about this last week, right? Not for the guys that are fighting for either a spot to start or to transfer somewhere to a really good school to put on some good tape. I think it's good for them, and so that's why I think.
Yeah, but I think the game itself is probably the least important part of it, because the other thing that'll happen is that, again, like everyone talks, coaches talk to, they'll know, like, they'll talk to us, like a coach looking to take a kid, like, why, they'll know our assistant coaches too. They'll talk to each other. There's all this shit happening behind the scenes. Like, nothing is actually embargoed. Like, why is this kid there on your depth chart? Well, doesn't fit our system, or the kid doesn't work hard in practice. And then even if you tell them that, the other coach will be like, well, I can fix him. So, but I mean, all that stuff happens in the background. It's one of the reasons the kids enter the portal and commit within like an hour. So,
right.
And I think there's so much
is going on.
But there's also so much inside baseball and coaching ranks. Like, a guy who knows a guy, and then like you end up talking, and everyone shares information.
Right.
That I don't know if the game itself matters. The practices definitely do, and I think what has happened is they just determined this game is just for the fans, and frankly, they don't care about fans. So they're just like, I'd rather hold another practice or just wind it down. I don't need to dance for the fans. Why do I care? And this, in terms of stuff like this, it's around.
They're gonna make it back.
They don't care
on the first game.
But also, this money's insignificant for them. $2 million doesn't matter at all for these big budget schools. It's a rounding error.
I mean, honestly, just speaking from a Nebraska perspective, they're the only show in town, so they'll make it back within the first 2 games of the year. I don't really think they're too worried about profit from a spring game necessarily.
And they also they don't need the money. Like, these schools are rolling in it. So
they have it.
I mean, that type of money, when you think about the budget of athletic departments, is just, this isn't not. It doesn't.
Because when you have, let's see, 2 straight home games that sell out 90,000, 90,000 seat stadium, for example, 2 home games plus alcohol sales now.
No, but what he's saying is you would have had that anyway, so it's just supplementary income.
That's fair, but I mean, I don't think it's going to cost. Like, I don't think
it doesn't matter. These are all these are all rounding errors for them.
Yeah,
it's not going to break them.
It's not going to break them. They won't notice the difference. I don't think people realize how much.
That's just not Nebraska either. That's a bunch of these schools.
No, even we wouldn't notice 2 million. Like, it's just all this money is slushing around now. It's all funny money. It doesn't matter.
And a lot of time, and a lot of these schools too are organizing other events for fans that aren't necessarily a spring game, but like a fan day and stuff. So they will get some money that way, just not maybe in a spring game.
Yeah, maybe do a fan day and just do like a regular practice, right? And have them come out and watch a regular scrimmage that they would do when they're just practicing. So, I don't know. You know what? Right now, I think it's something. It's it's something that's really not broken. So why try to fix it? Just leave it alone. I'm fine with how it is. But that's not the nature of the business. The nature of the business is to continue to try to change things, even if it's not broken, is to kind of change things around. And it ends up screwing up a lot of things. So whether it's this, whether it's another sport, whether it's just period, just life in general, like if something's not broken, people are still going to want to change it and fix it and do something different. It's just the nature of humanity and how we work. But so it doesn't matter. Like it could, the 16 team playoff could be the most perfect thing in the world. Someone's gonna figure out, oh, we should do a 64 team all of a sudden. We should do this. We should do that.
That'd be insane. That'd be nice. 64 team college football playoff.
That would be nuts.
Sign me up.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
forget about a regular.
There's no season that you slide up in this. That's it.
Like for instance, and I know we'll talk about this probably in the next half an hour or so, but baseball is a perfect example of how they've ruined the game. I think they've taken the humanity out of it. They've taken the human error out of it a lot. They've replaced it with a lot of technology. And a lot of petty bullshit.
Well, shout out to JD Arteaga for reintroducing the human error, but we'll get to that in half an hour.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Human erroring all over the damn place.
That was good. But yeah, it's just, taking out a lot of what made football, college football, NFL, whatever it is. It kind of sucks. It's really look, for instance, right? Like unless you're a college basketball enthusiast and you love the game and you really are passionate about it, it's kind of taking the fun out of even March Madness, right? It's taking the fun out of college basketball. It's taking the fun out of the NBA. The NBA, I mean, a lot of it is almost unwatchable at this point. So it's just, I think that some things need to be changed. And I think might need to kind of revert back and to some stuff, but we won't go backwards. They're going to continue to go forwards until everything is played on a machine on your head.
At what point are you gonna yell at the kids to get off your lawn, man? Because you're very close.
Hey, you know me. I'm kind of old school when it comes to sports, man.
Honestly, if you're a Celtics fan, the NBA is great right now.
I think a lot of the right. But also March Madness has always been. No one knows who the players are. You just I mean, unless you're really into it, because they were all one and done anyway. I don't think much is really. The best players would always just be there for a year maximum, and then they're gone back. Actually, they stay long.
I get it. Auburn, Florida, St.
No, but I mean, just generally, it's college basketball has always been that 3-week March period that's gripped people. You never really, because you'd have one and dones and all this shit. So people would show up for a year, you kind of watch them a little bit, but then you'd see them in March and they'd be in the NBA. It's not. So I think that hasn't really changed. I think definitely football has,
for sure,
and baseball as well, and because those are the two sports where kids can't football they flat out can't go pro until 3 years after high school. In baseball, once you get on campus, you can't. So you're used to oh, we got this. They're going to be here for 3 years, and they're just not anymore. Yeah. And I think that's definitely changed dramatically. You just got to adjust to it.
I guess my thing is, I think a lot of kids are being told, are being fed a lot of crap, right? And so,
for sure.
And so you get a lot of kids that are one and done in college basketball, and they suck in the NBA. They're terrible, but projectability and this, that, and all this crap that scouts do now, where they use technology to analyze a player's shot and how he's going to do 10 years from now, and it's just. To me, I think that some players are maybe leaving too early, not developing enough. Where as you saw sometimes, I know you still had the one and dones. Very rarely did those one and dones come out and be absolute juggernauts, right? And then the high school kids as well. You have maybe one guy like a Garnett or a Kobe or something like that come out and
LeBron.
LeBron, right? Well, obviously, right? And be these absolute superstars, but. The game's changed a little bit, but you're right. For the most part, it's March Madness, and then is when it gets exciting and when people pay attention per se. Maybe there's a Loyola around the corner or George Mason or something that does something.
You had to go Loyola, really, man.
George Mason, shout out to Coach L. I don't know.
Loyola is always going to be too soon.
Yeah, I know. Well,
damn, Sister Jean, her voodoo.
Oh wait, shout out to Artie Burns, man, signing with the Dolphins. I didn't even know
Artie Burns is signed with the Dolphins. It looks like Travis Homer just re-signed with the Bears. So
who? Travis Henry, you said?
Homer.
Oh,
former Kane, running back.
What are you doing? I was like, Henry? I guess so.
Why would we talk about some random person at the Tennessee on this show, man?
Travis Homer signed with who? Was Cincinnati?
No, the Bears.
Oh, with the Bears. Okay. Oh, cool. Nice.
Where he was last year, re-signed with them.
Yeah, that's right.
So some Canes are they're still out there, man. They're still out there.
One of the coaches got a promotion. Devontae Love Taylor, promoted to player personnel. Director of player personnel for Kings football. So, football is you guys.
We should, I guess, we'll talk about Canes landed a big time recruit as well. But before that, we should go with, man, Coach Cooney got mega screwed.
Yeah, he did by an Ohio State guy. Shocker.
Yeah,
right?
Damn. So yeah, for those that aren't aware, he was going to Bowling Green, got hired, and then the head coach left to go to the NFL and joined the Eagles staff. And Eddie George, actually, there's a blast from the past, took over as Bowling Green's head coach and is not going to be bringing Cooney on. So
he'll probably be back in Miami.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm assuming he's welcome. I'm assuming Mario will take him back. But yeah, that sucks. That was a good opportunity for him and one that he earned.
I know.
It's unfortunate, but it's a business.
It is. I mean, it's better that way than I guess to get fired or technically I guess.
I think he hopefully signed something so he gets a little severance out of this.
True.
It's a state school too, right? Isn't it? Yeah, Bowling Green State is what you should call it. So maybe you got some benefits. Those things last.
I hope so.
Your state employee, you get benefits. I don't know how long it takes for those to vest, but you got something out of it.
So wait, who committed? What are we talking about here?
Kenton Dopson III, man.
Oh, yep. That kid. I don't even pay much attention to him because he's a 27 kid. So I was like, all right, there's a lot of time still. But as of now, was the number 2 rated corner.
Well, I mean, he's got ties to Miami from way back from when he was a baby. They've got him in Miami clothes, so it's a cool story. And then his mom unfortunately passed with stomach cancer, so he waited until her birthday to announce that he had committed. So it's a good story. It's it just shows how far how deep the roots are in the community here, because you kind of forget, and then it's he's got a real
when you hear that story, you think of a guy he's gonna stick. He's gonna be one of those guys that's come in and help recruit the rest of the class. So we're gonna go
technology here.
Speaking of, where the hell is Blue, man? Jesus.
He said he wasn't gonna make it, so that's our newest commit. When
there he is. That's what he looks like now. 2027. He's got a lot of development.
That's what they all look like to me. I'm old as shit, but no, it's a cool. I think it's got more of his other that's him with his mom when.
That's awesome.
She's the one who passed, and then this is him
throwing
up
to you early.
Look at this. Yeah, this kid was meant to be a hurricane. Now he's a man. Yeah. So
for 27.
Yeah. So this is why Miami football is always going to be around. There's too many community roots. So it's a really cool story, and I guess we'll see him in 2 years. But good stuff.
We got some time, so good for him. Absolutely. What else do we got today? I know spring football is. They're back
up tomorrow. I think. Yeah. I think tomorrow they start back up. So yeah,
they're back at it tomorrow. So hopefully we'll have some more information about what's going on there. But look, I think that at the end of the day, what we want to see is some guys step up, man. I don't know yet what it's going to look like. We have an idea, right? We have an idea that on paper, this defense is going to be raw. You got Poyser now. You got Brantley. You got Carnley. You got Ethan O'Connor. We haven't even spoken about barely. You got a lot of guys that are coming in that are going to be really talented players. You got some young guys at linebacker and Kellen Wiley and Zeke Marceline. You got some guys in the front, that are coming back. Some exciting young guys like Booker Pickett, Marquise Lightfoot, McConaughey, Mark Moulton, Josh Horton, Justin Scott. You got so many guys, that are ready to Armando Blount, right? I can't believe I keep forgetting him, who's probably going to be maybe the best out of all of them. So there's a lot of talent on that side of the football. Can new Coach Heatherman come in and ball out and teach these guys and develop these guys? New coach and Will Harris and Damian Lewis. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of different things there. When spring football gets going, I know that we'll have some coverage on that. But aside from that, right now it's just kind of wait and see. Excuse me, kind of wait and see what they do and how they perform on the field during practice and everything, and give you guys an idea as to what we see on the sidelines. So that's about it. That's all I got. I don't know what else to do today. I'm done. It's early.
It's show 1 of 3 for me, so I'm just getting started. It's the appetizer.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think next week's show we'll have a good one because we've got practice going on already.
Yeah.
We've still got some recruiting going on, and of course the portal opens up soon again, if I'm not mistaken.
There's no off season anymore, man.
Do you know what date, DJ? Do we have a date on when the portal opens up again?
I'm gonna look that up right now, and I will let you know.
What do you think? What do you think is the first thing that they go after, Vish?
Linebacker.
Linebacker?
Yeah, they got to.
Yeah, I think that they go after linebacker, and I think that they go after O-line, offensive line. I think they just want some depth pieces there.
Well, I think about those positions, they're light on numbers. So they got to go get.
Well, not only that, I think you're going to still get some more guys that might leave that are backups,
It opens on April 16th and closes April 25th.
Okay.
Man, we are a month away.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a little bit more.
Well, yeah.
Because I think you're going to get some guys that are going to leave. It always happens. Even guys that come in that are like, oh, there's too much traffic here. I got to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to cut it. Think about it. Even that defensive back, right? You brought in a lot of guys. You brought in 5 or 6 guys there.
Yeah.
Maybe a Markeith Williams decides, I got to get the hell out of here. I'm not going to get much playing time, or Isaiah Thomas, I know, hit the portal already. So, who knows? Who knows what you're going to see there? At linebacker, you need numbers. We're low on numbers there. So, the low on numbers there, I think the offensive line is a place where either we're going to have some more attrition and we got to bring in a big body, a couple guys for depth, or just continue to build on that depth. Because I know there's some guys like Kinsler and Okunlola and Minaya, and Frank Avilla and those guys that are depth pieces. Ryan Rodriguez, who could be a starter. I think that left guard position is still open right now. I know Matthew McCoy has done a great job, but there's opportunities there, right, for Ryan Rodriguez to come in, probably the smartest guy. He's put on some muscle, gotten a little bit bigger, and he's really, really smart. So as a left guard, I think he makes great sense. He was started last year until he got hurt in the Florida game. And then Juan Minaya, who supposedly put on some weight and looks like a monster himself. Tommy Kinsler, Samson Okunlola. Is he going to be able to battle for that tackle or guard position? If not, you're probably going to see him in the transfer portal. So we'll see what happens. What is it? We are already Autism. What's up, man? Love to see you on the show. Autism Awareness for Life. We are already back channeling.
Yeah, read out the whole name. Autism. I love to see you. It's not. Oh man, I'm clipping that for sure.
Great. That's awesome.
Autism, I love to see you. That's A+, man. No, but it's really cool. You keep that in your handle, so every time we show you, it does. It doesn't show, which is where raise awareness. So really cool.
I
know that I know that back channeling. They've been back channeling for months now, I'm sure. But I think that you can always add another piece to a lot of those puzzles. And I'm thinking O-line, and I know what CCH says here. We don't need any more O-line. I think that you forget is that chances are we're still going to lose a few more guys.
Oh, for sure.
And so you got to be prepared, and you got to be back channeling a lot of those different positions: safety, backer, defensive tackle is a good one because you might lose a couple guys there, right? Offensive line, the same thing. Wide receiver, you're kind of low on, so maybe you go after one more big-time wide receiver in the portal, which I can see as well, right? I know we're all excited about JoJo and Mike Carr and CJ Daniels and some of the young guys that we brought in, Josh Moore and whatnot. But if you can go out and you can get a KJ Osborne type of guy, right, or a Charleston Rambo type of guy, yeah, you're going to go out and you're going to get that guy. You're going to try to get that. So chances are, look, a guy like, I mean, right now the heat is on Ray, right, because you got Malachi inside there. You got Night Car that could probably play a little inside. So the competition is there for him. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens there. So there's a lot of questions that spring is going to answer, I think. Good, bad, and we'll see what we get. So, back on the first quarter, yeah, I don't think we're too concerned about what they're going to cost. I think it's about getting the right guy.
There's no salary cap, so spend whatever the hell you want. Not my money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't really care.
Yeah. I mean, of course they're going to try to keep the guys that they have, but if they lose one or two, you got to be ready. So we'll see what happens. They're going to be doing a lot of recruiting. So the portal opens in a month, and I'm sure they're already ready to go to get some guys lined up. So, all right. Well, that's it for that.
Yeah, baseball coming up next.
Yeah, baseball coming up next. Not that I want baseball to come up next, but it's coming up next. So make sure you keep it locked. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to talking about some baseball.
We got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about. So
we'll
talk about baseball now, and in a second, about 10 minutes, you'll get Canes on deck, and then Fish has got buckets tonight.
Buckets at 11. We're breaking down the NCAA tournaments.
NCAA tournament, the one that I say is crapola. No, it's fun. The brackets are always fun, so you kind of get to guess. Yeah. When does the tournament start?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Playing games are tomorrow, like the tournament proper is Thursday.
This is perfect, then, Vish, right? So watch your show, get in all what's going on with the brackets, and then do your brackets and line them up.
I don't know. I had the made some poor life choices this year and consumed an inordinate amount of Miami basketball. So I don't really know what good basketball looks like anymore.
Don't listen to Vish. Only Mel and Matt.
Yeah, just there. We have some guests coming on too. That
there you go.
Matt's guys who one of them that God I forgot his name already. The dude on Oakland last year that like broke out in the tournament and got famous. That guy, Genki Gorky, whatever his name was.
Jack Gorky.
Yeah, that guy. So one of our guest hosts today last year called that guy out and said, watch this kid before the tournament started, and then he was all over everything 3 days later. So we still got that clip, so definitely tune in. You might get some
I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't even have to watch, just watch the show anyways, but you don't have to watch the tournament. Just wait a couple of weeks. All right. You're gonna get my pick is gonna be there in the Final Four. All right. We're going with St. John's. Let's go.
Yeah, it's St. John's. As long as it's not Florida, I'm going to be happy. I'm settling for small wins now. Just Florida not winning is good enough.
No, St. John's. Let's go. St. John's, baby. 30-4. That's pretty damn good for a team that was down in the dumps, and Rick Pitino came back, brought him back to life. So, all right. That's enough basketball from me. I will. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Yeah, see you in like 10. Yep. Well.
Laters.
The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Kane Show.